Hi, welcome to Baking with jay+dan.
I'm Jay.
I'm Dan.
And today we're going to make shortbread cookies.
We're cutting them into the shape of large flour cookies, but you could use any cookie cutter you have.
So we already started the batter by creaming together 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter along with 2/3 cup of granulated sugar. And our next ingredients, to that we're going to add 1 large egg. All right, so our egg has nicely incorporated into the sugar and butter mixture. I'm going to give it a quick scrape.
And we're ready to add the zest of 2 lemons. It really punches up the flavor of the shortbread.
And the next ingredient, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. We're going to mix that up, make sure that it's nice and incorporated, the lemon zest into the batter. All right, so our mixture is nicely incorporated. I'm going to give it a quick scrape.
And we're ready for the dry ingredients. We have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. We'll stream that in slowly, just until it's incorporated.
Okay, so our batter is nicely incorporated. You don't want to overmix it at this point because that could make the final cookie really tough. So I'm just going to scrape it off the paddle. And I'm going to hand it off to Dan.
So the batter, when it comes together, it might still be a little crumbly in the bottom. That's a good sign. Just work the rest in by hand. And then I've laid out a couple sheets of plastic wrap. And we'll form this into a disc. We'll just turn the plastic over. Pat it down to take out any excess air pockets. Fold in the edges. And this can go into the refrigerator for a couple of hours, preferably overnight, so it's nice and chilled before we roll. Once the dough is nice and chilled, bring it out of the fridge, cut it in half. It's just easier to work with half of the dough at a time. Okay, we'll form the half of the dough into a smaller disc, and you want to have it where you can work it in your hand, but not overwork it. Okay, over here I have a silicone sheet dusted with flour. Make sure it's covered all the way to the edge. Then you drop your disc into the middle of that and use some of your plastic wrap. Use that right on top. This is a great way to get smooth surface on the cookie and it doesn't gum up the rolling pin. So roll from the center out, just even pressure. You can rotate as you go.
And I'm going to tell you how to make the perfect royal icing. It's in a bag. It's really easy. All you need to do is open the bag, pour it in the cup, add a tablespoon of water depending on what consistency you want on your royal icing. So if you want an icing that's really smooth and fluid, add a little bit more water. If you want something that's really thick, add a little less water. And now it's time to get your piping bag ready. I like to use disposable piping bag with a number 3 tip. It's really all-purpose. And then I also like to put it in a little glass as a holder so that once you start to fill with the royal icing, it doesn't spill and go all over the place. So we're going to just put that in the glass. Make a little border with it, and you just pour the royal icing. I'm just going to give it a quick mix.
So I have the cookie dough almost to where I like it. It's about a 9-inch circle. I'll flip it once, lift it off the silicone. Okay, if you have any batter there, just scrape that a bit with your bench scraper. Then we'll give it one more flour dusting, maybe a little bit on the sheet and a drop on the bottom of the cookie. And this will be the final roll to make it super smooth.
Okay, so now our raw icing is in our piping bag. Just shake it a little bit. And you want to make sure there are no air bubbles in there. So I like to just start to gently press it out to the frosting starts to go to the tip. And then just twist the top of the bag. I like to use one of these handy dandy chip closers. So if you don't have that, you can just use a rubber band.
You could use a scrunchie.
Yeah.
The 80s hair clip.
So it just gives you a nice clean area so that you can pipe.
Okay, so this looks good. Lift the plastic away. We're gonna flip it one more time. Lift the silicone sheet away. See how it just comes away nicely now. And we'll chill it one more time before we do the cutting. It's just gonna help you hold this shape. So take a piece of parchment on another flexible cookie sheet. Turn that over. We have the plastic on top. Loosen it a little bit. This keeps it from sticking in the freezer. We'll pop this in the freezer for about 10 minutes and then come back and show you how to cut the shapes. So the batter is nice and chilled. Take your 3-inch cookie cutter. This is our flower shape. We'll cut right in. And it lifts up like so. Then gently release it from the mold. And you can drop it right onto the cookie sheet.
So this goes into an oven that's been preheated at 350. And depending on the shape and the size of your cookie, they bake anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes. You can rotate the tray halfway in between. You know when they're done, when they're lightly golden brown, you don't want them to get too dark on the bottom.
So about 4 per cookie sheet should do the trick. If you end up with an area that's got a little excess, just take a cake tester and bring that right out to make it a perfect petal. Then with my little bit of dough here, I can also use a smaller cutter. I've got a smaller flour cutter. We could go in and make some small shapes from that excess dough. But also remember, oh, that's cute, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you want to bake all the same shape on the sheet at the same time. And then this dough gets rolled together and you can do another treatment.
Right, so this goes into the oven. Okay, so our cookie is nicely baked, golden on the bottom. It's time to start piping. What I like to do is pipe an outline using number 4 tip with royal icing. I'm going to start with pink, and you just want to gently start to pipe a border around your entire shape. Hold the piping bag at a 45-degree angle and just let the royal icing fall on the cookie. Okay, so we're going to let that set till it starts to harden. Next step, we're going to flood them. Okay, so now our cookie has set. The border is nice and solid. It's time to flood the cookie. So you just want to go in and start filling the border inside of the cookie. And what I like to do is just take my little handy dandy tool and just fill in the holes. And now we're going to put this aside and let it set so that it's nice and solid. Then we can apply our third layer. All right, so now we're on to the pink, and just gently start to lay your accent color. In this case, I am using white. And maybe just have 3 dots in triangle formation, the top of each petal. And finish off the center with an accent color. In this case, how about yellow? Just apply even pressure, release the pressure, and then pull away. So our royal icing has completely set, a couple of hours or until it's really solid to the touch. Now it's time to do the finishing step. It's called luster dust. This one is a pearlized dust that you can dust on anything, and it's edible, and it gives it a nice sheen. So just take a little bit on the end of a brush. You can use any kind of a bristle brush and just gently glide over.
And here they are, arranged on a platter.
Now it's time to dig in.
I want. Oh, they're nice, soft break. They're lovely.
It's lovely, light recipe, perfect for summer. The lemon complements the vanilla and the royal icing. Perfect.
They're amazing. So this has been Baking with Jay+Dan. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.
And remember to ring that bell.